we have a much clearer game plan as we go into now 1 month inside of Q3. I'm Raghee Horner, and for those of you that may not know me, I am the lead trader over at Simpler Futures as well as the Sector Secrets Mastery. And we're taking a look right now at the target rate probabilities for the September 20 Fed meeting. What we have here is an 80% probability. This is after the PCE hot zone that we had at 8:30 today. 80% probability for a pause. So as long as the 5.25 to 5.5 zone is the column, if you will, right, is still the most probable, this is a pause. Now we move out to November. It's still the most probable, but there's a pesky nearly 30% expectation for a 1/4 point hike. So the hike column is the 5.5 to 5 3/4, because this is where we currently are, 5.25 to 5.5, right there. So as long as this is the number one column, this is the expectation. And believe me, the Federal Reserve knows this. Now, why does this matter? Why am I opening this conversation up about the Q3 game plan with this? Gang, macroeconomics comes right down to one thing: the Federal Open Market Committee and what they're going to do with rates. Now remember, the only reason we look at jobs or growth or even inflation, like today's PCE, is because this is what the Federal Reserve will use to justify their decisions and their messaging to us, the trading and investing public. They can point to a report and say, see, PCE was expected to come in at 0.2, and it came in at 0.2. We've got a hold of inflation. Forget what's real, forget what's not. Remember that we're just looking at data on a rate of change basis. That's going to be your best macroeconomic approach, looking at the data and seeing how the messaging changes with that data. So number one, Q3, gang, we're bullish. And let's talk about why we're bullish. So first thing I'm going to do is bring up kind of the most obvious bullish corner of the market. And this is the Nasdaq. Now, by the way, I really want to mention this, gang, because I think it matters. And you can tell me, leave a comment. Tell me if this kind of content is moving the needle, what you'd like me to cover. But let me tell you why what I'm sharing with you matters. So in the Sector Secrets Mastery, and by the way, I'm only going to talk about trades that I have on with our members, whether that be the Futures Room or my Sector Secrets Mastery. And the reason this matters is if I'm talking about a trade and it's working, I want to make sure that I've communicated it in such a way that the members can participate. That's why we're here, right? So we've had a bullish look at the Nasdaq, and members would know, hey, Rog, you've talked about this forever. XLK Tech, XLC Communication, XLY Consumer Discretionary. These are the 3 cylinders of the Nasdaq motor, right? Of that Nasdaq engine, if you will. And as long as they're moving higher, the Nasdaq must move overall higher, right? Now, we've known the Nasdaq has been in a crazy uptrend. This has been by the dip along the daily price movement ranges for quite some time. And you might say, yeah, Rog, what is that? Here, right? Look, it's not about being right every time, but hey, if we were to take a look at the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I'll call this 6 trade right there. Let's call that maybe break even to a loss because it didn't follow through much more than this high right there. I just want to have one loss in here just so I can be fair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 opportunities at the DPMR. Let's call this one loss out of 10, or we went 9 for 10. I'll take that. And I'm not even going back to where it would even be more, right? I'm just going from basically the beginning or the end of June to the beginning of July, right? Let's say we went back even further. Let's say we went back to, May. It's even more, right? Here's my point. When we have a strong trend that is not necessarily reverting to the mean, I know a lot of us have been waiting for that, the daily price movement ranges step up. Now, you might say, okay, great, Rog, I don't have those, and that doesn't help me. I hear you, and I've heard you. And now, and I'm going to give you all, so don't tell anybody, this is our secret. On August 2nd, I've got a webinar coming up, simplertrading.com/opportunity. All right, you all know we've got a trial coming up. right? This is a very limited time offer. This is August 3rd to September 1. You can join me in the mastery. One of the things that the Trish boss, many of you know her if you've been in any of the rooms, one of the things that she made sure that you all are going to have is a 30-day trial. Along with that 30 days that you're with me, you're going to have 30 days of the daily price movement range and 30 days of the hourly price movement range, the full subscription. In other words, if you've been wanting to try out the ETF stocks futures that we have in the daily price movement range and the full list of ETFs, stocks, and futures in the hourly price movement range, you will get that for 30 days. Remember, these have to be updated. The nature of volatility is, well, volatile. So as volatility expands and contracts, these indicators have an algorithm that inside of them, we look at the historical volatility, and historical volatility is constantly in a state of flux. So the 30 days update is going to take you through, this is the cool part, the entirety of the trial. And there's a whole lot of other goodies that you all will get as well. One of the things that I was doing to key our members in to these shifts in the sectors that I'm going to talk about in a moment is the top tier outlook. Gang, you get the top tier outlook as well. So there's a lot of very cool things that are coming with this, $7 trial. So before you say, okay, Rog, in or not, please attend the webinar because I really want everyone to understand what we're doing, what we're focusing on, and a general gist of the techniques and the times of day that we're trading, because I really want this to be a good fit, right? Because that's when I know it's something that everyone can grow with, benefit from, and actually use. Yeah, so simplertrading.com/opportunity. Why am I so excited? I'm hearing a lot of bearish talk again. This is why it's going to be very difficult for the market to roll over unless we have an unforeseen geopolitical or some sort of unforeseen, it could be a bank crisis, those kinds of things. Gang, we can't trade things that could happen, and we can't trade things that we don't know are going to happen, right? I know it sounds, interesting to say, oh, a black swan. Well, good luck, right? So I need to see into the future and say there might be some dark at the top of the stairs. And if that actually happens, I'm just going to be short. I think even my saying that, a lot of you are wondering, yeah, Rag, why would anybody do that? I agree, right? So as long as the cylinders of this motor are moving higher, we're going to buy the dip, right? Yes, there would be that one last trend trade. But if we've won in the interim, why do we care, right? There's going to be that one last trade. Don't be a top picker in strong markets. Let's talk about the S&P, because the S&P and Dow, two very interesting things happened this week, gang. Number one, the S&P has now participation not only from financials, which we've been trading via the JP Morgan number 2 weighted stock. This has been a monster, I think, 3 or 4x winner for us. We're also noting that as long as XLF is moving up, guess what's ripe for a buy the dip? You bet. Not just the S&P futures ES, but the index that benefits the most from the overall strength. That's the Dow, gang. And this month, in fact, just last week, the Dow has finally, talk about a laggard, but the Dow has finally put together a respectable overall uptrend, which is going to benefit transports, industrials. And here's the other exciting thing for the S&P and the Dow. Healthcare has finally woken up. Gang, this is not rotation. Rotation is not the only conversation when it comes to why a sector or a stock or an index will move higher. This is participation. We're not seeing one sector suffer at the hands of another, where we see profit taking leading to bargain hunting. We're seeing money coming off the sidelines. We're seeing broader, important, heavily weighted sector participation. What is moving higher matters, right? Not that everything's moving higher. What is actually moving higher? And XLV joining the party is huge for S&P and Dow futures traders. And then, by the way, let's not neglect the KRE and the Russell. So for the same reason that financials are going to benefit the Dow, KRE and regional banks are going to continue to benefit Russell. So we have all four indices, gang, moving higher with their main sectors also moving higher. Not just one sector and not just one index, but all four and their heavily weighted sector ETFs. So you're talking about XLF, XLV, KRE, XLK, XLC, XLY. I hope you see that rather than saying, oh, this is a top, now it's time to start shorting, this is an overall uptrend. And if someone else wants to pick a top, good for them. I'm rooting for them, by the way. Why? Because that pullback is going to be where we get in, right? It doesn't have to be adversarial. We're looking for those pullbacks. Let everyone else top pick. You can see simply when the daily price movement range is happening with the green right here, that green zone, look how often the buy the dip works. That's the trick. And oh, by the way, you get the multi-trend as part of this trial package. Like I said, we don't do trial packages. This is a very limited time offer. So if you've been wondering, hey, Rag, I've been seeing these videos for a bit. I want to see what you do for a month. On the 2nd, I'm going to show you what we've been doing in July. Not last year, 3 months ago. What are we trading now? And that's going to be, I'm sharing with you that on the 2nd. And then you can join me for a whole month, the month of August, with the tools and with the newsletter and the alerts and everything else that comes with being a Sector Secrets Mastery member. All right, gang. Thanks as always. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you on the 2nd. Hey traders, Raghee from Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and a comment below. And remember, subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll get notified of the next update. And when you're ready to join me for live trading, be sure to head on over to simplertrading.com. I'll see you in the next update.